Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check how to play with Inage Natsu. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, Inage Natsu is the newest character in the game, and she's interesting to say the least. She's a Protect type human character. Protect is a very strong trait, but Human on the other hand is not as strong. There's a couple supporters that enhance this, but not that many. So let's go to the skills. But before we check the skills, we got to check the leader skill. The leader skill is Soul Art. So what does this offers? Some skills are enhanced when buffed with Soul Art. When using an enhanced skill, use 1 stack of Soul Art, up to 5 stacks. Gain 2 stacks of Soul Art when performing Smoke Cloud, Restoration Smoke, or the final strike of a normal attack, or Taimanin Art Swift Palm, which is the basic enhancer. Gain 1 stack of Soul Art after every 3 skills. So this puts you above, but it doesn't do anything at all. It enhances your skills, which is another decision, but it works. There's benefit to having a buff, even if it doesn't give you something like a speed increase or attack increase like Spinel does with her frenzy. This will proc some supporters that need you to have a buff, which is nice. It is very self-sufficient. And then, while this might sound like some skills are gonna be not as effective because they do not use Soul Art, the fact is that most of the time you will have stacks. It's very unlikely that you do not have stacks, because you're always going to use one of these skills, or use your basic attacks just like that and gain stacks. And it's worth mentioning that Natsu is a very, very fast attacker, so getting those stacks is not going to be that hard. And there's also another thing we got to take into consideration, and that's Natsu's unique debuff. Not only she has a unique buff in the form of Soul Art, she also has a unique debuff in the form of Puncture. So, similar to Soul Art, this debuff won't do anything until you reach a certain amount of stacks. Well, it is not exactly the same. Like, this doesn't do anything other than buff your skills. This doesn't do anything until you hit 15 stacks. So, Puncture deals a large amount of damage when it reaches 15 stacks, making the enemy groggy. 1 stack decreases every 5 seconds. So, that's not going to be an issue. When you want to use this, you will be able to stack those puncture stacks. But the thing is that it isn't like super worth it. As far as I know, the damage isn't that impressive. Like, it is a little bit difficult to keep an eye on that because Natsu is very, very fast. But you can pause the video and let me know if it's actually worth it or not. In my opinion, it is not. I mean, I didn't see pop a big amount of damage. So, in any case, let us continue. So, what about the actual skills? Let's start with Smoke Fan. Smoke Fan is going to be a range attack, hold evade, 12-second cooldowns, blow smokes that performs an area attack to enemies ahead. The smoke then dissipates and heals 3% of the damage dealt. Using Soul Art, heals an additional 3% of HP. So, first of all, this is already pretty strong. It is amazing because you got a blue skill, a pure blue skill that is going to heal you. It has a healing skill. And while it might seem bad because it's only for blue, actually, no, it doesn't really matter because look at this. 1 blue increases smoke size by 30%, which is important, sure. 2 blue stuns the enemy. Can be used, but isn't that impressive on PvE. Number 3, increases critical rate by 50%. Doesn't really matter to begin with, so basically you can use this with on mixed builds with one blue, and it's going to work perfectly because you only need the size increase. The stun and the critical rate are not important at all. I mean, they are appreciated, but at some point you get so much crit that you don't need the extra critical rate. So yeah, it is a great skill, especially because you can heal double. Then we have Thunderclap. Thunderclap is gonna be a melee attack, dash attack, 8-second cooldown, perform a charge attack that shoves the enemy with the palm. Using Solar, unleashes a shockwave for an additional attack. Here on the animation we can see the actual shockwave, so that's an extra effect. But most of the time you're going to proc that. It's like very rare that you do not. Then, this one activates on the main, which is very important. Increases damage by 10% for 5 seconds on green, stuns the enemy on blue, and decreases the enemy's defense by 10% for 5 seconds on red. So, I gotta admit, blue isn't the most impressive, but how the AoE works makes this usable even on blue. For red and green, it's very nice. Unfortunately, I don't like those 5-second buffs, but considering that it has an 8-second cooldown, it's understandable and it is useful nonetheless. Then we have Taimanin Art Swift Palm. Swift Palm is gonna be the basic enhancer. Melee attack, enhances basic attacks, adding puncture attacks. So basically when you do basics, you're gonna add puncture. As simple as that. It is pretty effective, and not only is this good because it enables you to use any supporters that activates on debuff enemies. You also have something pretty important here. Increases speed of normal attacks by 5%, increases speed of normal attacks by an additional 10%, and increases particle charge amount by 50%. So for weapon actives with the character release weapon, this is going to be super useful. But also, if you want to take advantage of your Susune, your Gal Lilim, this is going to be great. And the speed increase is not that noticeable in my opinion because this character is already pretty fast. But being even faster means stacking more puncture stacks so that you can deal that explosive damage. So yeah, it is appreciated nonetheless. Then, Shattering Blow. Melee attack, during normal attacks, hold attack, 11-second cooldown. Teleports in front of the nearest enemy and performs a heavy attack using Solar, unleashes a shockwave for an additional attack. So yeah, I don't like this. Just because of one thing, and it's the teleporting aspect. It makes it awkward to use, kinda. But, I mean, we will get used to it as long as we practice. That's how it works. Had they not added that property, it would have been exactly the same as Thunderclap. So, they were kinda forced to add it, I guess. So, let's see what it offers. 1 green increases skill damage by 20%. Nice, we're starting great. 2 green makes the enemy groggy. I mean, they like a lot the groggy effect on this character, but not necessary to say the truth. Then, 3 green increases critical damage by 250%. That's good. I mean, it's perfect to get the critical damage increase on green because green is the color for crit. You know it. Then, Shadow Blink. Shadow Blink is going to be a melee attack, dash attack. Keep in mind that you cannot use these two on the same set. Shadow Blink is going to have 8-second cooldown, teleports to the furthest enemy, and performs puncture attack. Using Solar grants an additional stack of puncture. 2 green increases damage by 20% for 5 seconds. 2 blue increases speed by 20% for 5 seconds. 2 red additionally add 1 stack of puncture to the enemy. So, this skill you're gonna use, but not as much, trust me, because there are very better buffing skills on the set of Natsu, and these last only 5 seconds. The numbers are nice, but 5 seconds is not worth it. I mean, it is the kind of skill that wants to have a short cooldown, and I gotta say, it's kinda awkward to use because with a dash attack you normally pierce through the enemy or you just dash and strike them. But this is going to teleport you to the farthest enemy and you're gonna hit them from behind. That's awkward with that command. That's all I'm going to say. It's not bad, it's just awkward. It's actually pretty effective if you know the combo, but even so, it's not my favorite. But it has its uses. Then, Smoke Cloud. Smoke Cloud is going to be a range attack, hold attack, 14-second cooldowns. Blow smoke from the pipe. The smoke lingers for 10 seconds, dealing damage over time, and increases fortitude of allied characters within range by 20%. Fortitude, if I'm not mistaken, it is a chance to get to ignore damage. Basically, it's a pseudo invincibility. Here it would be a 20% chance to ignore damage. So 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 5 hits, you will ignore damage. Just like that. Then, with 2 green, increases the smoke duration by 2 seconds, which is okay-ish. With 2 blue, increases the fortitude by an additional 10%, so that's going to be 30%. So then, with blue, it becomes not that bad. I mean, it's still not a defense increase or a damage reduction, but it is something worth considering because it's 1 out of 3, or kinda 1 out of 3 hits, you will ignore damage, which is appreciated. Then, with 2 red, increase the smoke area of effect by 20%. This will be most effective when you are using ranged characters on VR, because sometimes ranged characters won't get near the enemy and they won't get into this AoE, so increasing the AoE is nice. Then, Hole Puncher. So that's a melee attack, hold the bait, 12-second cooldowns, performs a consecutive attack that stacks puncture using Soul Art, grants 6 additional stacks of puncture. 1 red, decreases the enemy's defense by 10% for 10 seconds. Nice duration. It's 10%, but for those 10 seconds, I'm glad. Then, adds 2 additional stacks of puncture with the last attack, and with 3 red, increases skill damage by 150% and gains super armor while active. I'm glad that Grimoire has learned to add this property on most skills when they need it, so it's nice. Then, Restoration Smoke. Restoration Smoke is one of the best skills this character has, and probably one which you will use the most. So, what does this offers? It's a perfect dodge. Then, 9-second cooldowns. After an extreme dodge, releases a smoke that follows the player when attacking enemies, restoring 1% of max HP per hit. 1% of max HP per hit. That's why Inage is a fast attacker. It's not based on the damage, but rather the amount of hits. And trust me, you're gonna heal a lot. Then, the smoke lasts for 5 seconds and applies its effect to allies within range, which is nice. It's nice. You're gonna help out your partners, but remember that the restoration is based on max HP and number of hits. So when attacking enemies, restore 1% of max HP. Yeah, so if you use this next to Murasaki, and let's say that your Murasaki for whatever reason doesn't heal with that build that you're using, it wouldn't be that effective because Murasaki is super slow. But let's say that you use it on a Nagi. A Nagi would be great because it hits double, so you get more healing. Then, for the effects, to green increases the smoke duration for 1 second. To blue increases fortitude of allies within range by 20%, which can be paired with the smoke cloud, which is nice. And to red increases the smoke area effect by 50%. Again, which can be effective for ranged attackers. Then, Drifting Illusion. Drifting Illusion is a ranged attack during normal attacks hold attack. 10-second cooldown, releases smoke that tracks the enemies for 3 seconds, dealing damage over time. Enemies attacked by this skill are disarmed. Using Soul Art increases the smoke duration by 1 second. This is the equivalent of a launcher skill, but it's way better because it's not a launcher. And because it activates with each kind of color. With green, you reduce skill cooldown by 20%. With blue, increases skill damage by 25%. And with red, decreases the enemy's defense by 10% for 5 seconds. So, what's the issue with this skill? The skill doesn't exactly debuff. Yes, it debuffs, but it lasts until the skill is... as long as the skill is active. Because the moment it disappears, the debuffs, the disarm, disappear. Which means you cannot use this with Witch Su. Keep that in mind. Even so, it's a strong effect and very spammable, especially if you have a mixed build with green. So, keep an eye on that. Lastly, we have the Awakening skill, Power Release. Power Release is going to be a double dash, 8-second cooldowns, increases damage and speed by 20% for 6 seconds, and gains super armor by depleting 10% of max HP. Using Solar and applying slot effect respectively decreases HP depletion by 5%. Cannot use when HP is at 10% or lower. So the HP cost doesn't really matter because you already have healing options if you're using either Smoke, Fan, or which I mentioned that you can use on mixed builds, or Restoration Smoke. Those are perfect. So with 3 green, increases damage by 10% for 6 seconds. With 3 blue, increases speed by 10% for 6 seconds. And with 3 red, increases the duration by 2 seconds. So, I mean, I don't like the short duration, but it also has a short cooldown, so it makes sense. It's pretty spammable. It doesn't really matter that you consume your HP because you can restore it with any of these skills. And that's not even counting weapons or... well, the weapons don't heal right now, but weapons or supporters. So yeah, Natsu, it's a very interesting character to say the least. She, do not be deceived, guys. She is a debuffer and also she is a buffer. But, and she's also a healer and a main attacker. But, the primary role is going to be a DPS. Single target preferably. While she has options like any character to deal with waves of enemies, is most effective against a single enemy. She can become a supporter, preferably on blue or red, with these 2 skills and something else. But I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to show you like a build that I made, but it isn't my favorite strategy for this character. So let's start by doing some builds. We're going to start with this one. Green. Let's check the weapons. So I have the Viridian weapons, and this is 5 out of 5 plus 13, whatever Magatamas on the subslot. And for the other weapons, I did roll, and this one is pretty funny. I got it on a ticket before I started rolling. That's what incentivized me to roll, and unfortunately, I didn't get a copy of this weapon. But I got 2 copies of the Momochi weapon, which I might use. Then, Vape Tool, the other SR, is not a bad option. It says when using a skill, decreases the enemy's speed by 8% for 7 seconds and stack up to 3 times. So slowing the enemy with how fast you are, it's pretty abusable, trust me. This is a weapon that you want to keep your eye on. Inage Natsu is going to be super F2P friendly right now because of these 2 weapons. So that's something pretty good. Then, the weapon that we're using here is Yamaraha. Yamaraha. And this has critical damage increase, which, as you know, it's one of the best effects in the game for an SR weapon. Even better if it's UR, but that's pretty rare. So, we're going to be using Water Magatamas, critical damage, whatever Magatamas, critical damage, both 5 out of 5, both plus 13. Then, for skills, let's start with Shattering Blow, along with Restoration Smoke and Power Release. Power Release to increase my damage, then I evade, and then I use Shattering Blow, and the enemy is going to be dead. As simple as that. And I'm going to heal a lot. By the way, I didn't. I think I didn't prepare anything on the save slots, but basically this build can work on any color. You just replace Shattering Blow with any skill that you want. You can go with a Smoke Fang, Hole Puncher, Thunderclap, whatever you want to put. It's fine because these two skills are just too useful. It's not a bad thing. It's just that the others get the other skills get outshined by this. It's the only issue that I have with this character. That I wouldn't like these two skills to get nerfed. I would like the other skills to get a slight buff, which make them a decent alternative. You know what I mean? So let's see. For stats, I have this. I'm just missing 2 skins, so it doesn't have that many stats. For stat training, I have 11 points on attack. It's not that much. For supporters, we're going to be using the Founding 3, 4 out of 5. I know it's not that F2P friendly, but I mean, you can change it for whatever you want. We have Baretta, we have Torajiro, we have White Knight Asagi, super good, depending on the stage that you're facing. You can use Nanao. I always say Nano, but it's Nanao. You can use, of course, Akane, super great supporter. So grab whatever you have and can. Surugam and Kowaru, as simple as that. So she's going to crit and she's going to melt everything. That's the intention. And that's why I have the Founding 3 on the main, so that I can actually take advantage of the critical damage increase. So I do this and which was the command? During normal attacks, yeah. So as you can see, I managed to do this. And okay. Yeah, the damage is just absurd, but I like it. Let's see, one more time. Woof! 9 million. And then another 4 million. Yeah. Inage is just busted. I mean, how can I say this? Inage is not going to be like the character that is going to carry you. She can deal an amazing amount of damage for sure, like any character can. But she doesn't offer good debuffs, like, for example, let's say super slow Murasaki or Phantasma with her defense down just because she's near the enemy. Or just because she uses skills. Who else? Or the super abusive defense reduction from Shizuru. It's always defense reduction. That's kind of the best debuff. Or mind control. So yeah. But even so, I had I like a lot, for example, what's the name? Hebiko. New Year Hebiko, because she's an enabler. And this character is an enabler just cause, which is very, very useful. Basically, putting it on your team is going to allow you to use Susune, Galilim, and any other supporter that requires you to use debuffs. Yeah. Pretty nice. So ultimate just cause, and I do this and melee and there, damage. Obor is alive. Yeah, as you can see, you're not gonna have issues with HP as long as you use this skill. Nice. Come on, Edwin. Wow, wow. Dead, mega dead. As you can see, pretty easy. So remember, she's a single target specialist. This stage took a good amount of time because there are a lot of enemies. Whenever we have a stage like, let's say, Mass Taimanin, Werem Knight, no, I mean, she can work on Queen Arachne, but it isn't her best. So Werem Knight and Mass Taimanin are good VR stages to take this character for a run. Now, let's go with red. On red, we're gonna focus on that debuff capability, debuffing capability. So the weapons are gonna be the same. For skills, Restoration of Smoke, because we need Restoration of Smoke. Natsu, I mean, she can heal, but and especially on red, there's options so that she can heal. But I don't have damage reduction on this build, if I'm not mistaken. So I prefer to have this restoration skill. If you use any supporter that gives you damage reduction, you may change this for whatever skill you want. Then Shadow Blink, because we want to abuse that puncture. And lastly, Hole Puncher to deal damage and put more stacks. For supporters, we're going to be using Susune. If you want to put Susune on the main, that's actually fine. That's pretty good, in fact. But I'm gonna go with Kirara to hinder myself a little bit. Besides, I don't need the active to heal myself right now because I am using, as I mentioned, Restoration Smoke. So, then we have Yukine and Kirara. Kirara, 4 out of 5. The other one's 5 out of 5. So, let's see how good this is. You can tell me in the comments like how much damage this skill does whenever it... Well, not the skill, the debuff does whenever it activates. To see if it's really worth it or not. Let's see, like that. It's going to be... dash. Yeah, you see how it's kind of weird? Also, this skill has a super short range, the all red. Keep that in mind. There. Okay, just one. Destroyed. Yeah, as I mentioned, she is not great with dealing with multiple enemies. She's more of a single target character. She is not that bad with waves if you go with blue, because of the AoE of her pure color skill. But even so, it's not ideal, trust me. Let's see, I do this and this and this and I destroy all the enemies. Yeah, nice. And it goes for Edwin, nice. I mean, obviously it's going to go for Edwin. That's what it's supposed to do, to go after the furthest enemy, which I don't like. You're with a certain enemy and then you go to the one that is at the other side. Nice. Okay, destroy the mobs. And come on, Edwin. Like that. I just do this and voila. You see how it's very difficult? If I don't... Whenever you can, pause the video and check how many... how much damage this skill does. Well, this debuff does. Because for me, it happens in 1 second and it's kind of hard to see. Let's see. Over here... And yeah, I don't think that red is her best color. Green is definitely there. When you are able to crit. That's another thing. I feel like Natsu is not going to have the best damage in the world. Because she's a fast attacker. As a fast attacker, the idea is that you hit as much as possible, but because of that, you are not giving too much damage because you already hit fast. So yeah, as you see, no issues with the HP recovery. If I didn't have this skill, I probably would have some amount of issues, some kind of issues, because I don't have damage reduction. If you have damage reduction, then you can do it. Which I'm gonna try her supportive build on BR, but everything in due time. Everything in due time. And yeah, you see the AoE, it's very small. So perhaps if anything, she needs a skill that brings enemies next to her, or a gravity zone. Maybe they could actually add that property to this skill, to the smoke. I mean, it would be busted. Oh, God. Yeah. Wah! Let's see. I just need to evade one more time, and then I do something like this. Oh God, no! Okay. I need to evade one more time. Okay, nice. Okay, one less. And I do another hit to heal myself, and I eliminate Ingrid. And now I can deal with Edwin. I just need to do another evade. Come on, there, and voila. HP recovery. Yeah, even at risky situations, she can manage, as long as you're careful. Okay, there we go. Nice. Yeah, it wouldn't be as risky if I actually had something like Red Ring, which I only have one copy of, so that's not an option, but it's there. Oh yeah, Natsu is very fortunate because she's one of those characters who actually is able to use her character release supporter. Not everyone is that lucky. So, let's see. What are we going to be doing here? We're going to be using Taimanin art just to do a build with the basic enhancer and debuff the enemy so that you can see the speed of this basic enhancer. Shadow Blink to increase my speed even further, and also Smoke Fan to restore HP because I can on blue. As simple as that. And a Rose to increase damage of criticals and have better chance at dealing crits. Lilin because it's a good option, F2P. And Natsu because I'm going to buff and debuff. I'm going to buff myself and debuff the enemy. So I get the damage increase and damage reduction, which is nice. Also, I can get a chance to make more damage with my skills, which basically is going to be the blue one, Smoke Fan. So yeah, that's about it. So let's test it. Preferably I start with the dash attack, then the basics, and then I do that. You see, oh, the enemies are stunned. That's it. I thought they were dead, but no. One. Yeah, as you can see, the issue is that Natsu has little super armor, but that's why she has a skill that can give her super armor. Even so, look at how fast I deal with this. Compared to Red, this is absurd. Kaput. And I just do this and this, and I reposition, and that was bad. But even so, I manage. Come on. Okay. Come. 1, 2, and well, I managed to deal damage to the enemies, even though Edwin was invincible. Okay, nice. Okay, come on. I'll keep the ultimate just cause, I mean, I'm almost done with them. Nice. Perfect. And take this. And the speed increase of the skill and the basic enhancer is very, very effective so that you can increase your stacks. Though I know this might not be the best damage that you can deal, it is there. It is an option. So yeah. Oh, let's see. A little bit of this, a little bit of... Come on. Confusion. Okay. There we go. Just a little bit more and done. Take this. So we're gonna start with the ultimate because I don't want to deal with the waves of enemies. But I have to focus Oboro and Ingrid. Active. Okay, damage to Edwin, that's useful. Not the best spot to do my skill, but it's fine. Let's see, damage to Ingrid. that was hilarious. Yeah, how I teleport and then Oboro just gets me back. Now that I think about it, Inage could use White Feather Aska, but let me tell you, it's still a better option if you're facing one enemy. If you're facing multiple enemies, I wouldn't recommend it. Ingrid is a better option for multiple enemies. Come on. Like this, excellent. I just do that. And also the active. And Nobori is dead, okay. And, oops. That didn't... What happened with Ingrid? Why is she not... Well, she wasn't moving for some reason. Okay. Ingrid done. And now I can single target Edwin. And there we go. Nice. Pretty easy. And I didn't even notice that I had slow. Okay. For this one, this is another green. No, it is a mixed build. Let's check what this one offers. We're going to be using critical, as you can see. That's why we have Barretta on the main. If we're using mix, obviously we want to use either Thunderclap or Drifting Illusion, or both. In this case, I'm using both. And I'm using Restoration Smoke. While Thunderclap isn't as effective as Shattering Blow, it's still a viable option. And consider that you're going to be able to disarm. So that's definitely something that we can take advantage of. So I disarm. And I do damage. Yep. As simple as that. I disarm. And I deal damage. And whenever I evade, I do myself a favor and I create this healing area. Yeah, not the best to deal with challenging content. I did manage to beat this stage even so, particularly because we have control over the enemy thanks to the disarm, so it's pretty easy to just eliminate the enemy by controlling their actions. Okay, I do this and then this. Nice, nice, nice. And voila! We're done. Slow. Now I can feel it. I mean, I don't have the basic enhancer, that's why. Oh yeah, it is very different with and without the basic enhancer. The basic enhancer is just... No, wait a second. It's not just the basic enhancer. I also have a speed buff. That's why I feel it that different. Yeah. I almost forgot. Okay. Pretty simple. And without having a pure color skill. Remember that those have the most damage. So, yeah, it isn't as bad. Especially because of the disarm. That's what makes this so easy. So I'm just going to do a couple hits and there. I'm gonna use the ultimate. I don't want to deal with the waves of enemies. So I just do this. And Ingrid. Look at the damage, god. Well, I mean, I'm using 3 critical supporters, 5 out of 5, so obviously it's going to deal that much damage. And they are some of the most powerful. Yeah. And on top of that, wait a moment. No, I'm not going... Or am I? Yeah, I'm going double green, right? Double green with red, yeah. For a moment, I thought I was with Anaros, and I was like, no, wait a moment. So, yeah. Effective. Now, we have this one. This one is a triple color skill. And, and Natsu is one of those characters which can actually pull this, going triple color. I mean, you can do it, but there's characters who are more effective at it than others. Illusion, you know that it's very strong already. You just saw it. Then we're going to use Smoke Fan because we only need 1 blue support and we're done. This skill is just amazing. The other 2 effects, while useful, are not necessary. And here we have the basic enhancer. So what do we have here? We have Suruga, we have Baretta, and we have Lilim. As simple as that. Not that bad. So, let's go with this one. So we start by doing the busted skill, and I deal with the waves of enemies. And I do this, and then I deal with the wave of enemies. Nice. Yeah, it's not that bad. You become super fast, you have an AoE attack, you have control over the enemy, you debuff, and I'm using whatever supporters that I had. You can use something different if you want. You can go with Galilin, for example. You're going to debuff them for sure. This particular build is very debuff oriented for Natsu. And let's go with that. Yeah, unfortunately I get stunned. But even so, it's fine. Take this. There. Just a little bit more. And take this. And also take this. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Excellent. I disarm him. Nice, 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 nice. Controlling the enemy is just amazing, guys. As I mentioned, she's a single target specialist. While she can deal with waves of enemies, her AoEs are not the best. Comparing her to, I don't know, something like Aina, what's the name of this other girl? Maika. She's not as impressive for sure in that part. So she's not a farming. She's more for challenging content and beating solo bosses. I am not doing a solo boss, but you know what I mean. I mean, my account is strong enough to actually try this. But try to use her where she is most effective. There. Come on. Nice. Just a little bit more. Oh, really? Take this. Okay. I'm just going to wait a second to remove that slow and let him launch and take this. There. Healing. Nice. So yeah, Natsu is viable for sure. Now we're gonna do a quick fun build on VR super quickly. Let me just check the time. Yeah, I'm on time. So I mean, yeah, why not? Why not? I can do it here. So this might not be the best idea because I am using Ingrid. Ingrid is gonna be armor break Ingrid. Well, she is one of the weakest options to pair Asuka with because she doesn't get any kind of benefit because she's not machine nor suppressed. She is strong on the fact that she can just abuse her effect super easily because of the amount of multi hits that she has. So this might not be the best. I'm gonna do the run, but I'm gonna change it on the next run. So what are we going to be using? We're gonna be using Astaroth as a damage dealer. We have the Wicked Star, 5 out of 5, whatever weapon, 5 out of 5, plus 15, both of them. Anti-Demon, Wind, Magatamas, whatever Magatamas. Let's see, are these Anti-Demon? Yeah, they are Anti-Demon. Then, Serpent Blaze, Lava Serpent, Fire Wave. Fire Wave because we are using Natsu and she wants to get near the enemy. Then we have Dark Sun Astaroth, Misaki, and Nanao. You can change these for whatever supports that you have that increase damage. Torajiro, Core Phantasma, let's say this one you should have. Sora, whatever you have that increases damage, even Akane, a 20% damage increase is appreciated as long as you increase your damage. So, start of the customs, max out the stat training. Let's go with Natsu. What is Natsu going to do? She's going to be having Anti-Demon, Fire and Water, whatever weapon 5 out of 5, plus 13. This weapon, which is 2 out of 5, plus 11, whatever Magatamas. And then we're going to use Hulk Puncture to deal damage. Drifting Illusion, and Smoke Cloud. Actually, we're gonna use. You have options, guys. You want to use Restoration Smoke, preferably. Drifting Illusion you can keep if you want, but I won't. I'm going to put it like this: Restoration, Smoke Cloud, and Hole Puncher, because Hole Puncher is going to deal damage. And I need that damage. Remember, this is still a good option on BR, so you might as well. For supporters, Gal Lilim, Shiranui, and Susune. So yeah, we always have debuff with all the characters, so it's not going to be an issue. Then, let's see. The stats of the customs, the stats of the self training. Lastly, what is Ingrid going to do? We know, break super armor. Shiroyuki, Lina, and White Feather Asuka. With Evil Flare, Evil Heart Blast, and Evil Bloom. Whatever weapon 5 out of 5. Whatever weapon 5 out of 5, plus 15, plus 13. Anti-Demon, Fire and Ice. Whatever Magatemes. Customs, and Stat Training. There we go. I'm gonna do another run, changing Ingrid, because Ingrid doesn't let Grandma Natsu do her thing. But I already prepared this, so I might as well. So we just do this. And we break that super armor so that we can just attack. And thanks to Natsu's attack, the enemy's debuff, but that's not the only source of debuffs. The thing is, it is consistent enough so that we can use it. And look at that. She's not going to be able to do anything. Poor thing. Poor ugly thing. Kaput. And I just destroy this. Yeah, my damage isn't better with Ingrid, but that isn't her role. Her role is to break super armor. And she's doing that just fine. Perfect, perfect. No, I don't want to see the animation. Nice. Hilarious. Yeah, very, very hilarious. So why do I say that having a super armor break character isn't ideal if you want to use Natsu as a supporter? Because Natsu wants you to take damage so that she can heal you, so that she can block damage. So going with this isn't the smartest thing to do. But even so, it's a thing. You can do it if you want. Break that. Use the active. Break that super armor one more time. Come on. Ooh, it didn't. Even so, it's fine. Instead, I'm gonna use something different right now. Let's go with ultimate. And there we go. So, something that doesn't provide an absurd amount of control. I think that now I'm gonna use Natsu myself. And I want a damage dealer, another damage dealer. It can be a melee damage dealer. Or a utility. A utility, yeah, I know who. I'm gonna go with Shizuru. A great idea, because she's going to debuff the enemy, she's going to deal a lot of damage, but she doesn't heal that much, so blocking a little bit of the damage while healing is going to be amazing. So, for supporters, what do I want to use? I guess a Stella, a simple Stella, along with this one, because she's red, and this one, yeah, just fine. Who do I want on the main? This one, to give extra HP restoration. Damage increase, and HP restoration increase, and damage increase with damage reduction. 5 out of 5 of all of them, so that you know. For this, we put those fire and ice together, along with whatever here. 1, 2, 3, 4. For skills, Rose Rondo, Sprout Garden, Plant Wall. No. Instead of Plant Wall, let's go with Whip Shot to decrease the 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Get near the enemy. Long animation. More damage. Which one do I want? When the skill is long, attack range is increased. I think I went this one. Since there are mobs, it might just hit a different enemy. So I prefer this. Whip Shot, Sprout Garden, and Rose Rondo. We still need the healing. It would be unwise not to take it because the support that Natsu provides is chance based. So it's not the most reliable thing in the world. So yeah, let's go with this. I don't have something for Halo. Oh yeah, I do. I almost forgot. So there we go. Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, let's do it. This one is gonna be a little bit more useful than before because we're actually not going to abuse the enemy by just destroying its super armor. Oh, I forgot about the command for that. It's a hold attack. It's a hold attack. I see. Yeah. Unfortunate that this doesn't have tracking capabilities. Or maybe, you know what? A simple snare would be more than enough. As long as you play it correctly. I mean, if you misfire and you don't hit the enemy, okay, you pay for it. But when you do it correctly and the enemy gets away, that's kind of annoying. So there we go, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, supporter Natsu is a thing. But as I mentioned, don't think that this is the most busted thing out there. Chance-based effects are always unreliable to some degree. And voila. Damage, damage, damage. And more damage. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah. There. Nice, nice, nice. So yeah. Very quickly, let's check her weapons. I kind of mentioned all of the weapons, but even so, I always do this. So basically, we're gonna omit the normal ones. Let's go with the SR. This is very useful. Considering how fast she is, getting control over the enemy is really nice. So do not neglect this weapon. It is nice. This one is also pretty busted, pretty F2P. It gives you a ton of damage just by having an SR, so it's great. Pretty easy to build as well. The pack weapon, very bad. The Sakura weapon, very whaley. The divine sensor. So this one I like. Unfortunately, I don't have. And it is for a kind of gameplay that is kind of niche. The weapon active builds. But you don't need to actually do a whole weapon active build. You can just use the basic enhancer on this weapon, and that's more than enough. And then you focus on your skills. You activate the active, sure, but you get stacks of skill damage, and that's gonna be amazing. So that you deal a tremendous amount of damage. You don't need too much to actually use this, so keep that in mind. It is pretty self-sufficient as long as you use the basic enhancer. Then the PvP weapons. The Momochi weapon is also pretty good for this character. If you have Bride and Rose, you can use it on BR. But for normal content, this is going to be super great because of the amount of hit that she deals. there's characters who take more advantage of this. Like Murasaki has few builds where the Momochi weapon is a good option, but Nagi, any build can use this. It is great. So yeah, those are the weapons. Now, let's go to the character and let's do a quick analysis. So, as I have mentioned throughout the video, she is a very interesting character that might deceive you. She buffs herself and she debuffs the enemies, but most the unique buff and debuff don't do anything to the character itself. Like, I don't know how to say it. The unique buff enhances skills. The unique debuff deals damage when it reaches certain amount of stacks. It won't slow, it won't increase attack, this won't do anything other than what they are supposed to do. But they are activation conditions for supporters, which I appreciate. A character who is self-sufficient and can use supporters like Susune without the need of something else is nice. So keep an eye on that. She's great at dealing with single enemies. She doesn't have the most damage. She can deal a substantial amount of damage for sure, but I wouldn't put her on a level like Astaroth. So keep that in mind. Probably she will get stronger in the future. I think that this character is gonna get stronger with her limited pack, but only time will tell. So, would I recommend this one? I mean, if you like her, it's not a bad option, especially for newer players, because as I mentioned, the weapons are pretty F2P. But this is not good for farming, and that's something that you need at the very start of the game. For mid players and advanced players, does this offer good value? It doesn't surpass Astaroth, as I mentioned, or some other stronger characters like Murasaki, but it's doable for sure. She can manage challenging content. You just saw how I did on the whole video. You need to invest on her, not that much, so it is not that bad of a choice. So yeah, sure, if you want to get it. This is not a high priority, but you can have fun with this character for sure. So, I hope you find this useful. Let me know in the comments something else that I miss on this analysis, maybe. Because, I mean, the character just released for F2P players like myself. No, I'm not F2P, but I don't buy them on packs, for sure. Even so, if there's any other builds that you want to share, let me know in the comments and I'll check them. And I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!